All right, hello and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are playing Call of Cthulhu tonight, and we are continuing our Horror on the Orient Express campaign. We are starting up a new city by the way the book works, effectively a new scenario. So we'll see how this goes. Melissa was doing some research about zoos in France in the early 20th century, and she's a bit horrified now. So that should be fun. She'll tell you all about it at some point, I think. I think we have two characters who have been to France before. I think we've had Pema and Joseph both took up the French language, though I think Joseph is not the greatest at fluency. Is that right? My understanding? Okay. So yeah,
I know how to say not in the face.
No. Because you filmed Scaramouche, the 1923 release version, but it was filmed prior to 1923, but it was released in 1923. So yeah, you've been here recently then, probably within the last calendar year, right? Yeah, I would think. We didn't do that much.
Which came from here to the thing.
That makes perfect sense, I think. All right, so I'm going to do a little summary of where we're at, and but let's go ahead and just do some intros first, let everyone tell you who they're playing. So Jeremy, tell us about Joseph.
Joseph Tidwell, Staff Sergeant, if you please. Stuntman is my preferred profession. I love it. I'm having the time of my life, other than the fact my good friend nearly died. Another good friend burned terribly, saving him. Now we're on a train that hopefully won't take us into some strange hell dimension.
Yes, indeed.
But we are in France.
Yeah, and the good friends you're mentioning are Professor Julius Smith and Beddoes, right? The manservants. Beddoes specifically is the one you have some history with, right?
That's correct.
All right. Next up, we've got Mr. Moneybags himself, Grigory Kozel. Chuck, tell us about Grigory.
That's very true. I am Grigory Kozel, big game hunter, professional money spender. And I'm just happy to be here.
What kind of degree do you need to get for professional money spender? I want that.
One inherited.
Okay. Fair enough. Bottom row.
I heard it's called the 1% solution.
It is. It is.
Grigory is the 1%. Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's a different time. Being in the 1% isn't that impressive right now.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not that rich, though.
I think about the math on that. Is it more?
I don't know. I don't math either as Grigory or Chuck. So who knows?
I don't know. Write in. Tell if it's more impressive.
Tell us. Email us.
Can't wait. Bottom row. Melissa, tell us about Pema.
Yes. So Pema Nondak is a scientist, specifically a zoologist. She is originally from Tibet. She has been to Paris before, and she has traveled and discussed the ins and outs of the animal kingdom with Mr. Kozel before this group came together.
Very true.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you have different views, I think. Grigory just kills him, right? And you lock him up in prison. Isn't that basically how it works?
Yes, we're both terrible people for science.
Yes, there's that.
Okay. When you frame it that way. Okay, next up.
We're on the same side of things.
Sort of, right? And then next up, we've got Killian Bingura. Adam, tell us about Killian.
No, name's Killian. I'm, what science did I say I studied earlier? It was
Human studies?
Human studies, yes. I am an expert in human studies. I found myself in with this crew a little bit ago, and they've treated me very well. And so I figured I'd stick around and see how things play out. Observe, as I always do. Observe someone in this hotel, observe someone in that hotel.
See a pattern forming, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to find a hotel in a minute, too, which is very exciting. Brand new hotel. I even have a list of them. And I will tell you about the awful attempts I've tried to learn how to pronounce some of these places. And it's probably not going to go well. And then finally, we've got our occultist. We've got Reginald Abernathy. Matt, tell us about Reginald.
That's right. Reginald Abernathy here. I'm elated to be reconnected with my old-time childhood friend, Joey Tidwell. We're back together again, taking on the world. Occultist, former police member, been to other worlds. Oh, you name it. I've done it. and there's multiple personalities ratting around here in my head.
How many have we been introduced to so far?
One so far.
All right. Do you know? Have you thought about how many you might have, or is it just we're just gonna play it as it?
We're just gonna discover them as we go.
Okay.
Matt, though, we did meet one while you were out.
A mute.
Yeah.
No, a mime.
Mime. Why not both?
Just in
honestly?
time for France.
Yeah. It was yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I'll go ahead and do a quick summary here for folks who are watching. Those of you playing, however, you got to roll your luck. So I just shared with you, if you've forgotten how to do that, go ahead and roll luck at the start of the session and restore whatever you get. So while they're doing that, so before...
Is 95 still the max?
99 is the max, isn't it?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 99 should be the max.
You just hush me and my 27 luck that I now have, because somehow I passed a luck roll of 16.
Nice. You're starting off really great tonight. Starting off really great. Okay. So as we mentioned, we're in Paris now, but before that, we were in London. But before leaving London, the investigators, they wanted to tie up some loose ends and they wanted to do a little research before leaving. So Pema and Reginald both went to the British Museum and Library. They found some vague references to this illuminated 13th century manuscript titled The Devil's Simulare, which might be in the Bibliothèque. Hang on, I actually know how to pronounce this now. No, I don't. The Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. The Sedefkar scrolls were noted as being in the Topkapi Museum in Constantinople. But that was before the Great War happened, and we're a couple years past it now, so who knows if that's still accurate. You also discovered a reference to a German count by the name of Fenelech, who was executed following a scandal in the Queen's Court on the eve of the French Revolution. So that's kind of what Pema and Reginald were able to sort of put together. So some signs pointing to like this other library you get to go to. But you also had a very disturbing encounter within the library where you saw a man, a fellow researcher, fall over at a neighboring table. And when you tried to lend aid, you discovered that he was dead, that he was skinned, and that pinned to his chest was a message carved in a chunk of skin. It was written in Turkish, which Reginald fortunately was able to translate, and it read, "The skinless one will not be denied." Meanwhile, the rest of them, Joseph and Grigori and Killian, went over to the Chelsea Arms Hotel. You kind of maneuvered your way into inspecting the room of one of these deceased 3 Mehmet Makriyats. And you also got to question one of the cleaning women. They confirmed that each of the dead Makriyats had a body part that was skinned. She also mentioned that the police were having some trouble with the Turkish embassy. And Joseph, you found an extra unmarked blood trail inside the crime scene as well. And you left a little note for the police to find later. Which, yeah, after some deliberation, you made the hard choice of heading to Paris rather than continuing to do any more investigation here. You do feel some sense of urgency based upon Professor Smith's go quickly. There might be other people collecting this stuff. There's a cult that's trying to get these things. So you decided to leave. You kind of traveled through the English countryside. You took a ferry across the channel to Calais, and you took another train to Paris. Along the way, you did a few weird little moments where we trained. Grigori, you took people watching lessons from Killian, but you had this weird moment where you almost saw the same kind of gray, endless void outside as you did when you were on the Randolph Alexis Doom train. Reginald, you spent some time trying to access various compartments of the train, and you heard a conversation through one of the doors that you couldn't access suddenly morph from conversation to bells seeming to communicate to one another. Then elsewhere, I think, Killian, you were doing some sort of training with like lucid dreaming, and you found like a crumpled up piece of paper from the Chelsea Arms Hotel that had just a bunch of jumbled, mess of letters that didn't really make any sense. On the ferry, Pema, you took some card trick lessons from Grigori, but you got interrupted by a drunken acting troupe that was handing out broadsides for an upcoming performance. But when you took an advert from them, you discovered a soiled old announcement for Leroy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correct, but it's King in Yellow, the play The King in Yellow. While waiting in Calais, Joseph cannonballed into the cold water of the channel and kind of drew the attention of everybody who was waiting for the train. Including a pair of men in dark trench coats that had taken a particular interest. And shortly thereafter, you're able to board the train and you pulled into Paris, we'll say late in the evening on Tuesday, January 9th. And that is where we'll begin. It's late Tuesday, January 9th. I would say the sun is basically set at this point. The city of Paris unfolds before you as you hop off the train. And I would say, first question, where are you going to stay tonight? Very important question. If anybody has been in France before, I would give you essentially 3 options that you would kind of know as good places. And you guys can choose wherever it is that you feel like staying. There's the Bristol Hotel, which is a very long established one, fairly aristocratic, high end. There's, man, the R in French is just really difficult for me. The Hotel du Rhin, which is also kind of a high-end aristocratic type of hotel. And then there's the Balmoral, which is a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more well-known. So those are kind of the 3 big ones. And you can see on the map of Paris that I have in front of you that they are kind of right next to each other. Or you could find something less high profile. So what would you all decide to do?
I would vote for the fancy one.
I have visited the Bristol Hotel on business before.
I, for no other reason than being a jerk, the second one, because then Jeff's going to have to say it at least one more time.
Well, you've won me over.
I'll admit I've made an appearance at the former, but I stayed at the latter.
You know, there is something quaint about going to the Balmoral Hotel as well.
No, the Hotel du Rhine sounds pretty good.
Well, the Rhine is quite a bit of ways from here.
Oh, it's just right down the street.
The Rhine River?
No, the hotel.
Oh.
Pay attention.
Oh.
We're looking for lodgings, not a swim. Although I could go for a swim.
It's quite brisk. I highly recommend it.
It is good exercise.
It is very cold. It is not snowing currently, but you do see the signs of it recently, maybe over the past week or so, but nothing current but you can definitely tell as you start kind of traveling through Paris that there is like you can see a modern city in front of you. Basically, you can see modern construction, you can see modern layouts of streets, but you also can see like the remnants of that kind of more medieval. Kind of older city and age, especially as you start weaving like between these kind of smaller alleyways, staying away from the larger boulevards. Plenty of cars on the street. Can get cabs. There's a tram system, the Metropolitan. There's different ways in which you can travel fairly easily. So I'm assuming the answer is not the one I can't pronounce because Melissa sucks. So what are we going with?
The nicest one, I think. That's where I'd like.
We'll say that's the Bristol, because I can pronounce that.
Good job.
The Bristol Hotel. Okay. So when you arrive, Killian, you said you've stayed here before. When you kind of you stand outside, and you can see it's well lit, several stories high. You can see that you're on a fairly active boulevard as well. You're not too far away from a few very well-known landmarks. Off to the west of you is the Arc de Triomphe, and like obviously to the east is the Louvre. Plenty of other places as well. The Opera National, like the National Opera of Paris, is sort of not too far away as well. And so, because it's evening time, there is a great deal of activity as you see people leaving the hotel, getting ready to go out and kind of meet their plans for dinner or for the opera or for somewhere else. But you're able to find your way in. Someone will come up and sort of check your bags as well as you move up to the counter. We don't have to play it all out, but I would like to know, are you all looking to get your own rooms? Are you looking to pair up? If you pair up, who is pairing up with whom? That kind of thing.
Emma always gets her own room.
Okay,
That's
fair
fair.
enough.
That's fair. I'm fine with pairing up. I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Same.
Camp over or sleep over at summer camp or something like that. Come on,
Fantastic.
Killian. Let's
Yes.
go.
Oh, very well.
Okay.
Perhaps. Are we able to arrange for lodgings? Do you need some help?
Oh, they've already checked us in and taken our bags. I certainly hope we have rooms at this point.
No, yes.
No, it's just some
course.
guy who took your bag.
Oh, we've been robbed.
No, you're able to get your rooms just fine. You also are directed to like a concierge or attendant by the name of Constantin Leon, who comes up to you, speaks like this sort of heavily accented English at first, but then kind of cuts into French once he realizes like Pema and Joseph have some fluency, but is kind of offering his services if you need anything, directions around the city, if you need tickets to the opera. He knows of various sightseeing venues. He gives you, he tells you obviously about different showings at the Louvre. That gives you the hours. He talks about the catacombs and how they're only open on the weekends. But if you're not staying until the weekend, he does have some connections. In fact, that on the morrow, there actually is going to be a special tour as well, if that's something if you're interested in. And he's doing all this while kind of leading you over to the elevators, lifts, opens those up, kind of has the bags and kind of stands on the lift with you. And by the time he kind of gets you to your rooms, which are, we'll say, relatively adjacent, same floor to each other, he will have given you all sorts of reasons to sort of come back to him, ask him questions about anything. So if there's anything you need to know about the city, he Constantine's your man. And then he holds out a hand, and he's waiting for...
I was waiting for this. I put in a healthy, appropriate, but not obscene tip.
He looks down at it. Go ahead and roll. Just out of curiosity, roll a credit roll. Credit rating really fast.
You've got it.
No,
I better be good at this because I've built my entire personality around it.
Personality.
No, I failed it miserably.
He looks at it. He looks at you, and he has kind of a sour look on his face.
My good man. I interrupt. I say, my good man. Yeah. As I give him more that would be befitting of his station.
And he'll take it from Killian and say, very good. Thank you very much. And he kind of looks over at Grigori, and you could see gives kind of a curious glance, like an appraising glance, as if he's now reconsidering just exactly how wealthy and how esteemed Mr. Kozel might actually be. But he does. Go ahead.
No, I'm embarrassed. I was calculating in the British currency and not French currency, because math and
numbers are for nerds.
Numbers are for nerds. I'll move away embarrassed.
So he will leave.
Reginald, what do you say? Whiskey today, catacombs tomorrow?
I like that. I do.
So you have your rooms. It's nighttime. I'm not sure if there's anything you wanted to do tonight. There's still some time left in the evening if there's anything in particular that you wanted to do, but you would know that anything that you would do in terms of business, in terms of the investigation, in terms of going into the library, the hours it's not open at this point. You do have a couple basic leads, if you recall. So things that you got from Smith and Beddoes' notes, just to refresh your memory. His notes said that the Sedefkar simulacrum was dismembered in Paris just prior to the French Revolution. Part of it may still be in France. And the owner was a noble, Comte de Fenelek, who Pema did some minor research on, but it was very limited what the British Museum would have. And then they also mentioned that another piece was in circulation in Paris just after the Great War, but it was sold to someone in Milan. So that's something that might be looked into. And then there was that note about the illuminated manuscript, the Devil's Simular. So those are kind of like the three things you're working on when it comes to Paris. You're under the impression that there's a possibility there could be a piece of that here. So if you do not want to do anything particular, we can say the night transpires just fine. Nothing crazy happens. You wake up in the morning. There is just a wonderful restaurant in the lobby of the hotel. Dine for breakfast and then plan your day. What is that plan?
Well, I mean, we've got our leads, and I do think the one that at least was hinted at being the most here was the one that belonged to County Fenelek. So perhaps we could research their estates
Oh, Mr. Kozel, your pronunciations are always so enjoying.
Yes, well,
Emma, what do you say we go check out the Bibliothèque Nationale and pick up where we left off?
It's exactly what I was thinking. So the rest of you might do something that does not require being hunched over books all day, I would imagine.
I'm good with
Well,
that.
what would you have of us?
Well, that is entirely up to you. What leads you wanted to follow up on? Those that don't involve hours and hours of reading, I would imagine.
See if we could hunt down antique dealers.
Yes, we could do that.
Or we can go visit a zoo.
Certainly could. The menagerie is definitely a good one to look at. I've spent a little bit of time there. Perhaps over dinner later tonight, I'll tell you about a different establishments that I was at in my youth. But it is not breakfast conversation, I don't believe.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Very well.
Outstanding.
Yes. I have no idea. I was just making dumb words. Please, someone else talk.
Jeremy, do you
So,
have something?
We'll be off to find antique dealers. So.
Sounds like a plan. We'll try not to get involved in any more shenanigans outside of their residence.
Okay.
Very well.
So
Let's go ahead
Reginald
and
and Pema are going to the library. I believe you also wrote ahead to express your interest because I think I gave you a no roll for that last time around.
Yes.
And then the rest of you are going to go specifically look for antiques dealers that might be able to learn something about a piece or the sale or something like that. Okay, so for those of you that are going antiquing, how are you going to go? What's your idea for figuring out how to find some antiques dealers and such?
Well, surely this hotel has a concierge.
No, I was going to say we can speak with our concierge.
Okay. Okay.
Tip him the appropriate amount of money this time. And he'll point us at one place and we'll go there and we're like, we need a place that's a little shadier than this. And then we'll go there and then we'll ask that place for a place that's a little shadier still. And then we'll have it.
I've got one extra I want to toss in there. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
An extra angle. Scaramouche. We had to do it on the cheap, but we wanted to look good. We had a set manager. He knew how to get the stuff that was real, but you didn't pay the real price for it. Reappropriated was the word that was said kindly.
Very well.
I did actually knock out a couple of his teeth.
Scaramouche.
Lead
Come
the way.
on. Adam, you were supposed to do that joke.
All right.
The only reason I said I did the movie there.
So if you're looking to find some antiques from the concierge, we'll say Constantin Leon has returned. He's just starting up his shift once more. He sees the three of you, specifically Killian and Grigori, who gave him some money last night. Monsieurs, what is it I can do for you today? What is it? Do you want entertainment, sightseeing? Are you going Eiffel Tower? Yes.
Well, that's a bit forward.
I'm sorry? No, it is not forward. It is that way. He kind of points in
yes,
different directions.
Of course. We are actually looking for antiques. We're on the thrill of the find, if you catch my meaning.
Yes. Antiques. Yes. Is there a particular kind of furniture? Are you looking for decor, paintings? What is it?
I'll look over to Grigori because Killian's out of his element here.
Love statues. A big bust, if I can.
Statues. There are a few places I could recommend. There is the and me. Oh God, why do I do this to myself? Could have just said everything in like New York. Fine when just everything's set in New York. So he will. He'll mention a few places. He'll say, "Oh my God, here we go." So it's the. He's going to mention a flea market. I'm not going to do it. I just talked myself out of it. A flea market in Stuntman, which is off to the north. He says it is extensive. It is winter time, so there's not as many people. You might be able to navigate it more easily, more quickly. But there are still people, and many things, old, new. There are also some people who will try to, and he's like kind of struggling with English a little bit. And he's like, try to swindle you as well. So be careful. Many forgeries, but there are many ideal items you might be able to find. But yes, this is a good place, I would think. Many stalls, many vendors from across the city will come and congregate there.
You're too kind.
Yes, I am. He extends his hand.
I'll give him the appropriate tip again.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else you care to ask him before you head out?
What are the hours on those catacomb tours?
Oh, yes. It begins at 1 p.m. And it will last until 5 p.m.
All right, we'll see how this goes. I gotta admit, I'm intrigued.
It is a special showing. It is not normally it is not open on a Wednesday, but if you want, I could write up a ticket from the hotel that would let you get in.
I'll have to see if we make it back in time, but clearly, you're a man that knows the city. You're connected. You're smart. If you know a special showing, that's a showing I want to see.
Yes, well, it is not special in that it is any different than the normal tour. It is just on a different day. It is.
Please, don't sell yourself short. It's clearly special. You wouldn't have told us about it if it wasn't special, and I thank you.
You are welcome. And he kind of sort of puts his hand out again.
I grab a crumpled wad of bills. I have no clue if it's appropriate or not.
It just that's messy. He kind of goes, and if there's
still
nothing
damp
else
from the swim.
It's still damp. They're kind of cold. Monsieur, what is?
I took a swim the other day.
Okay. So if that's all, we'll say you depart, and you start heading out to this flea market. Okay, I will try to do it. It's Le Marché au Peu Sonnois. And all French people out there, I apologize profusely, but I'm trying. Oh my God, Chuck's talking, but I can't hear him. What? He's still talking, but what?
Holy shit, I was making fun of you the entire time, and I was completely muted. You did it great. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. So Pema and Reginald, meanwhile, you are heading over to the library. Okay. So the library is, you can kind of see this on your map, by the way. But I will also kind of share with you kind of the little picture I found of it. So when you arrive, the hours are listed 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. You probably arrive shortly after 9 a.m. You've written ahead. You're able to sort of go up to the sort of main entrance hall. There are a series of attendants and librarians who are kind of ensuring that those who are going in have a reason to be there. Your name is listed and sort of referenced in some particular way. So I think what did you note, Pema, in terms of like subject matter for the research? Like, is there a particular bit of materials that you're looking for?
I would imagine I would have been relatively straightforward because we are hoping that the Devil Simulare is here.
Yeah,
So
anything
I think-
related to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So they will say to you, Madame Namdak, and this is all in French. They're just speaking pure French. So they will look at you and that, Madame Namdak, the materials which you have requested are in storage. They need the assistance of a skilled librarian to ship. I can assist you, of course. However, It will take time to retrieve. They are very delicate and very old. They have suffered significant damage, but we have found some materials that fit your what it is that you have asked. Plus, we can return if there are additional research topics that you would like us to look for. But we have set aside a table for you and for your assistant, as he kind of turns towards Reginald when he says that, and your research assistant. I should also mention that all of the materials are in French, and since you've been speaking in French, he will say, and your French is quite good. Have you spent time here?
I have visited from time to time. I spent a little bit of time at the menagerie as well, and I was here as a teen as well.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Well, our hall, as you can see, and he starts leading you through the through the library at this point. You kind of see as he kind of leads you past this entrance hall and into the main hall of the library. Like you can kind of hear like hushed, whispered conversations, scholars kind of scattered about here and there, like the smell of books. You can see that there are these very tall dome ceilings and arches like that cover everything, skylights in some places that kind of give this muted light. It's wintertime, so it's not extraordinarily bright, but there's still light coming down. It's a somewhat ovular room, as you can see, multiple levels, balconies that kind of overlook this enormous hall, all of them containing packed shelves, cabinets, display cases, things like that. On the main floor, you can see there's these long tables that are extended basically across the room. Row after row is kind of filled with scattered few scholars and visitors here and there, heads kind of buried in books, tomes kind of splayed out. The librarians you can see scurrying about here and there. They're also keeping a very close eye on people who are working. Maybe once or twice you see them kind of scold a person who is maybe mistreating a manuscript in some way. Some of them are at reference desk as well, and others are kind of aiding the researchers too, periodically doing like what you're having here. Someone fetch pieces from a vault for you. That's not necessarily on public display. Very formal air to the place. Everyone's kind of dressed in an attire. Even those researching are dressed in very formal attire and all very purposeful. There are conversations that are happening, but as you look around, you can see that they are kind of extended off into like these recesses and corners, like away from central study. And whenever they get too loud, you do see an attendant kind of scurry over and scold once more. So we'll say you find a spot on one of these kind of extended tables. The two of you sit down. And a few moments later, the attendant who is saying that they would fetch things for you comes back, and they kind of give you a stack of these old, dusty, and you can tell, well, not so much dusty, you can tell they're worn, but also you can tell that they have likely suffered some damage, some maybe fire damage, some maybe water damage, and they set them down in front of you. So I'm going to need let's see. So you're specifically looking into Comte Fenelek, and you're looking into the Devil's Simulare, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And during this whole time while we were walking, Pama would have been translating along the way for Mr. Abernathy, though she would have mistranslated the research assistant. And
I should hope so.
Would have just said partner when she translated back to Mr. Abernathy. But
is there anybody here who speaks the King's English?
And he kind of looks towards you and you say that, and he starts to speak. Yes, we speak some English, but the materials, as I have said, are in French. This is a French library. You are researching the French time of the French Revolution, and Comte as well. It would be very presumptuous of you to believe that it is all in the King's English. I'll have you know that we, as France, have had many kings in our past as well. You are not the only country to have them. Now, if there's anything else, I shall be at the circulation desk over there. Once you are done, please let me know. If you have any trouble, please ask. The gloves I have provided you must be worn at all times, and under no circumstances shall you make contact with the parchment with your bare skin.
Thank you. Very, very much appreciate.
So he kind of leaves at this point, kind of gives Reginald a little bit of a kind of a stink eye. King's English. He just mutters something on his breath. Pema, you hear it's kind of somewhat of an insult. And so, yeah, you can. So basically what happens here is you need. So how this works is you need to do a library use, obviously. But because it's in French, you effectively need to do like a French roll as well to be able to sort of navigate that, some of the translations and such. I would say that Reginald, you can probably assist, which could give Pema a what's it called? A bonus die, or you can roll yourself. But the problem would still be that you're probably slowing yourselves down.
Zero French.
Yeah. So
Pema, how much do you write out these key words here in French, and I'll look for those as I peruse these books.
That is a wonderful idea. I will certainly provide you with that. And she'll kind of take her glove off and kind of write out some keywords. Which would you like me to roll first, French or library?
either way is fine.
Do you want me to roll my assist for that?
Yeah.
And do I just roll library use for that?
Yeah, you can roll library use, so you have a chance to increase it as well. And if you succeed,
so I
we'll give her
rolled a 6 under 40 for my French roll.
Okay, you're good on French. And then Reginald, are you spending the 2 luck to give her a bonus die?
Yeah, let's do it. It's only
All right,
2
Pema.
luck.
You get a bonus die.
Okay, so bonus die is I roll my 10s again?
Yep.
All right.
You take the better.
So I rolled a 99 twice for my library check.
Okay. So 99 is going to be, it says effectively a crit fail in this particular case. So while the two of you are going through things, you find this old document, this old journal. And as you're kind of flipping the pages, you flip it Pema, just a little too fast, and you hear, and it almost echoes in the hall, this as you tear through the manuscript. And you hear all around, like pens, pencils, writing utensils, they all kind of drop. People kind of turn and look at you. Everything else goes quiet. There's this gasp. Oh my goodness.
As it happens, can I kind of like push Pem out of the way and take her place there at the book? Like I did it?
Sure. You want to roll like maybe a stealth test or something to see if you can do this? Or like, or you can do something else. If you have another thing in mind, go for it.
I'm just looking at all the skills.
Just a brawl.
Yeah. Dex.
First we rip a book, then we just throw down.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, you could also just do sleight of hand, like you grab the book from her instead, like you pull it over.
I'm good I got sleight of hand. Yeah, same as my Dex. Let's do that. Pass.
Okay. So you managed to do that, and moments later, you feel a firm grasp on your shoulder. Monsieur, what have you done? Oh goodness. And like they're in French at first, but then he like kind of shifts. Oh yes, must speak the king's English. What is this? How dare you? How dare you do this? We explain very clearly exactly what it is. And he just kind of goes off in this long litany, berates you, and he kind of calls some other people over. And you see what effectively is like security start walking over. Madame, I am sorry, but your assistant is just a bumbling buffoon. We cannot let them stay within here. These manuscripts go back hundreds of years. These are very valuable. They contain information from Maria Antoinette. You cannot have him in his giant sausage fingers, ripping through the pages. What is? Oh no! He must wait someone else. I'm sorry.
Listen here, Pierre. I'll show myself out. Leave the lady alone.
And so Pema is sort of assessing the situation and what happens, and she rolls with it. So she's going to sort of like wink at you, and then she is just going to just launch into
scold me.
Okay.
And like just sort of like fingers behind her back, like hoping that you caught the wink. And she's just going to light into you just about, we've traveled all this way to see these things, and how dare you disrespect history so much. And essentially she's going to like pretend to fire you.
And so, like the security man kind of grabs Reginald by the arm, and he speaks only in like this gruff French, and you can't really understand what he's saying, but you can tell he's trying to get you to stand. And then they start escorting you out at that point, as you have been
All right,
thrown.
take it easy, take it easy. I got some friends to meet up with catacombs. I don't need this.
Okay. So we will cut over to the friends as Pema, unfortunately, the first few hours of your research have gone very poorly. Your research assistant has been fired and kicked out of the library, and you have torn manuscript. And not only that, but you were unable to actually locate anything of use throughout the first half of the day.
My dice have failed me. My dice have
You've
been
been having some
failing me.
bad crit fails of late.
Right?
You really have.
It's fine.
Some of them have been really, really funny. One from Holler last week was just amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's kick over to the other three who were going to this flea market area. Okay, whether are you taking like trams? Are you taking cabs? Are you doing how exactly would you say you would want to be getting around?
Cabs.
Okay. So you take you get a taxi, no problem. The hotel, Constantine is able to flag one down for you. You get one in, and he even tells you where you're going. Kind of explains it to the driver. Kind of sets you up and starts driving around Paris. It is again, it's cold out, but it's not too overcast. But you can tell it's still a little grayish. Again, there's no snow that seems to be happening right now, but people are still bundled and walking around here and there. But eventually, you make it to this market, and you get let out maybe a block or two away, and he kind of directs you the route you need to take as you weave between these sort of uneven alleys with kind of cobblestones kind of sticking up here and there. You almost trip over once or twice. And you can see that as you emerge from it, you can see a market just extends in this sort of twisted labyrinth of stalls. Like they're stretching almost as far as you can see. There's this cold wind that continues to like kind of flap around here and there, whipping through the rows. You see tents and flags and these like kind of hanging tapestries and garments that are for sale that are kind of fluttering around, people's clothes as well. All around you, you can see what looks like vendors selling kind of curious trinkets, like antiques. You can see a lot of very macabre souvenirs here and there as well. There's also like the smell of like incense and some and what sounds like almost smells like foods. Someone's maybe cooking, selling some refreshment here or there, or different concoctions might be in the works. You see vendors are like beckoning people over as you pass through. Groups are kind of huddling around stalls or kind of between tents. There's like this furious negotiation, sometimes these whispers and here and there where people kind of furtively look over their shoulders. But you have reached the market. What would you all like to do?
Let's look for the creepiest vendor we can find.
I agree. Actually, I have a slightly different tactic that I'm going to employ while you're doing that. I'm going to be looking for the people that are trying to pick pockets.
Brilliant.
I want to talk to one of them.
Joseph, roll spot hidden. Grigori or Killian, whichever one of you want to do this. You can roll a psychology or an occult, maybe. Psychology if you're looking for someone shady and creepy. Occult if you're looking for maybe specific weird objects, something like that.
You've got this, Killian. I believe in you.
Well, since we are looking for an item, I suppose I should go with the cult. You guess nothing. That's an 81 over 26.
Okay. Now you can push in this game. We never really talk about it. It's probably too much luck that you want to spend, but you always can push. But the problem is if you do push and you do fail, something bad can happen. So it's up to you. Gillian, if that's the case.
And if you push, you don't get to use luck to bring it down, or you can use
No, you can
luck
still
to
use
bring
luck
it
after the second roll. Like after the second roll, you could still. But like the issue is if you don't pass the second roll, then something very bad could potentially happen.
Oh, very
similar
bad.
to Reginald getting thrown out, or someone putting a hood over your head and dragging you away and throwing you into a trunk, something like that.
What's to quote one of my favorite people in the world? What's the worst that could happen?
That's a great question.
Only a
Okay.
jerk would say that.
Okay. Yeah. So how much luck would I need to spend on that? Let's see.
It looks like 52. As you roll
Okay.
a
I'm down to
78.
8 luck now.
Okay, so you do spend it. Okay. Okay. All right. So for the two of you, so Joseph, you're specifically looking. So you see, it's mostly, you can see these little young kids kind of scurrying about. You know, some of them are probably no more than 12 or so, and you can see they kind of weave in here. Some of them act like they're runners, like they're running messages or they're running packages, or they're like kind of very carefully come up behind folks, and you can see with your sort of your eyes just focused on them slide their hands like inside someone's coat and just pull out maybe something recently purchased, maybe a pocketbook of some kind, and they take it and they hand it off to another who's maybe behind like a tent, and it's like you start to realize it's some kind of network. It's like this little network of these little kind of orphan kids or vagrant kids moving about here and there. And you're able to kind of track it. You get a couple faces. You can see not every child, but you can tell certain ones very easily. Killian, if you're looking specifically for things, if you're looking specifically for like artwork that might be like statues and things, you do find one stall of note that seems to be trying to sell off what looks like statues of various objects, and they're very abstract. You can tell that when you look at them, there's not a very clear and immediate identification of what the statues are supposed to be, but rather it's kind of taking almost real world found object, metals, stones, trash in some cases, and sort of reaffixing them, weaving them together in some way to kind of create this very sort of dreamlike vision of something. But you can see in this very large kind of tent, there's probably about a dozen of these different displays on these pedestals. None of them are bigger than maybe 4 or 5 feet in height. They don't look particularly large, but that's probably the largest of them. You can see there's a kind of an eccentric looking man with a long kind of hooked nose, eyes kind of very close together and somewhat beady. He's wearing like his hair kind of pulled back and kind of in this small little kind of bun in the back. And he has his clothes, you can tell, are a little ruffled, like they're not necessarily well cleaned. But he kind of sees you peeking into his tent. He's like, monsieur, yes, come in. You see something you are interested in. Yes, I see you have a good artistic eye. Yes. And all this is in French, by the way, when he says this to you.
My apologies. Parlez-vous... How do you say English in French?
Oui, oui.
Yeah, yes, oui, yes. That I speak small English. Yes, very small. I have learned some of it. I have been to London. Yes, but come inside. Yes, both of you. Yes, please, spend your money here.
Thank you. That is very hospitable of you. I'm far from home. I'm from Sierra Leone myself. But, this one, as I point to the one that you described earlier with the found objects, this one speaks to me.
Yeah, does it? Tell me, what does it say to you?
Well, it's almost as if someone is struggling with what they had dreamed, and upon digging further into it, they start to lose all sense of reality. It's almost of a horrific nature upon discovery of what lies beneath.
Monsieur, it is as if you have stepped inside my mind for a moment. You have read my deepest, most innermost thoughts, and you have divined the purpose with which I have constructed this thing. No. I was compelled to make this. Yes. We are of two minds. Oh, no. We are two of one mind. Yes.
Well, that's not the only mind that's here. This is I look towards the two behind me. But yes, I make a habit of my expertise is in human studies, and I knew that this one was particularly special.
Well, yeah, all of the objects here, the pieces here are for sale. If it speaks to you, I shall give you discount. Yes, I shall take 10% off. Yes.
That's
Yes.
too kind of you.
No. For a kindred spirit who sees the world as I do, understands our dreams, tell us signs, give us portents and omens. Of course. Yes.
Yes. There are some that say that it is processing what you have seen in the real world, but what you've only seen with your eyes, and that has been filtered through to you. You process what would have torn your mind asunder at night.
Monsieur, are you an artist yourself? A sculptor and a writer, perhaps?
I've been called an artist before, yes.
Indeed. Oh, you must accompany me. Where I am part of several artist groups within the city. There are movements afoot here, monsieur. Movements. We are exploring dreams. We have names for it, of course. I have a distant a friend I drink wine with, André Breton. We have discussed a new movement. We are moving beyond pure abstraction, where it's randomness, but rather our dreams are feeding our subject matter. We are digging into them deeply. We are surrealism. We are calling it, yes. A movement
Yes.
I believe you would be most interested in.
I think I am. I have had something calling to me every single time I go to sleep, ever since I was a child. Something I can't explain.
Is it haunting you?
No,
Is it?
no. It's telling me that I am on the right path for my journey, and I will one day realize my full potential.
I believe you will. Yes. I shall write contact information on the receipt after you purchase, and then you could come drink wine with us, and we will show you what the artists, the real artists, are doing here in Paris. Yes.
Yes. Well, I should brush up on my French then.
Oh, of course. But of course, if I am with you, though, I shall translate for you. Yes.
It is much appreciated. Just say so. Yes, are we of one mind? As I look over towards Grigori, and is Joseph still there, or did he wander off?
I think Tidwell is starting to wander off. You see him following some things.
Okay.
It works fantastic for me. I am all aboard.
Okay, so I will go
I
about.
was paying attention the entire time.
Yeah, I will go about requisitioning this then.
Okay, it's very expensive. The prices here are not cheap. So I will
But I did get
say-
10%.
Yeah, you did get 10% off. He says that to all the guys. So I'll say a credit rating. You could have Grigori assist you, take a bonus die.
Sure.
Yes.
If Grigori's willing to do that, of course. I'm sorry.
I'll do it, of course.
Okay. This is definitely outside your daily spending limit, essentially.
Mhm.
So,
You can do it.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I would love the assist. So if he's assisting, I just increase the die by 1.
just take a bonus die. So
Okay.
when the pop-up comes up, slide it over with 1 bonus die. And there are, thank you, John Max. There's the bits. There are some bits and
Ooh.
stuff too as well.
17 under 60.
Very, very nice. So it's a hard success. You're able. He will wrap up this sort of strange statue, this mixture of found objects, sort of pieced together to create something from a dream. He will wrap it up very delicately. He will put it in like a wooden crate with sort of straw cushioning here and there. He'll write up a receipt for your goods. He will put a small address as well, if you are interested in his gallery, where his loft, where he makes these pieces. And he'll say, "Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much." And then he looks over to Grigori as well. Monsieur, merci.
Yes, you're welcome. Quickly, while we've got your attention,
Yes. This is
There's been a
mis-
piece that I've been looking for a bit, but following its trail has been difficult to say the least. That's fine. Maybe you would have some idea. It was a piece that was sold after the war to someone in Milan.
Well, I'm afraid I would need more information. Milan has many artists many who are curious. What can you tell me of the piece? Do you have an artist, a name, a title?
I've got very little. Quick, let me confer with my friend here in private for a moment to make sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly. I don't want to embarrass myself again.
I don't know if
For
I'd
the
be
8th
much help.
time today. Should we just tell this guy exactly what it is? Like, we're looking for the Sedefkar simulacrum. Or should we be trying to find some other way to describe a thing that we have no idea what exactly it is?
Well, I would normally go for describing the piece, but since we don't know what the piece looks like, I think we will have to use its name. Otherwise, this won't bear any fruit.
Very good. You go pronounce it at him, and I'll nod my head knowingly.
All right. This is Adam forgetting. I know. I always just remember it as a simulacrum. What's the first part again?
Sedefkar simulacrum.
Okay. Yes, we don't know what it looks like, unfortunately. We've only heard it as a simulacrum.
I was worried about embarrassing myself.
I know.
Roll a luck check, Killian.
No, after I spent all that.
Sorry.
And if you fail it, he's got a gun.
We do have lots of audience bonuses for however we are
I
making
think you're
use
doing
of
plus 10% or something like that for a roll. I think that's what we're
Pick
doing.
them all.
Yeah, we'll do that. So
Okay. Thank you, generous audience.
Oh, that did it because my luck was 8.
With a 10%, if you take one, that is a
Yeah.
success.
Hey, thank you,
Okay.
audience.
Whoa.
Okay.
Amazing.
When you mention it, you'll notice for a moment that his eyes that have been somewhat beady kind of grow wide at the name, and he sort of this name I have heard this spoken before. I have not familiar with the piece, but I have heard it in certain circles across the city. There are, what is the word, occult cities, occultists, shops and shopkeepers and various people of smaller groups that have interest in such things, I believe. But I'm afraid I do not know specifically anything about it. I might theorize that if it is sold, you said it was sold to someone.
Yes, from Milan.
If there is no specific reference to it, it was sold as something it is not. It was perhaps one or both of the parties did not understand its value, or it was sold as one thing or another. If it is a statue, for instance, I sometimes buy reclaimed pieces, metals, stone, gems, and such that were once used in something else. So perhaps it could have been sold as rubbish. But I'm afraid I don't know of anything for certain. However, if you are curious, there are some places you might inquire elsewhere in the city. There, he'll kind of think for a bit. There is the what is it? In your language, it is the Black Cellar, La Cave Noire. It is in Montmartre, a basement shop. It is very hard to see. It is difficult to find. Very narrow alleyways. but it is somewhat hidden, obscured. It is a place where people who know it is there are the ones who are welcome, and those who do not know of it are not. But perhaps this place might have more information for you.
Very well. How do we get there?
You get a taxi, and you say, "Take me to Montmartre," and then he'll kind of give you a couple extra instructions on turns and landmarks and things. All right.
All right. Very good. We need to go to Monte.
Joseph, what were you doing as you were chasing after these kids, by the way?
Well, I've seen some of the kids. I've seen a couple places where they're reporting to. My first thought is I buy some cheap street food. I walk across and I politely take a bite out of one, hand the remainders to one of these kids before he has a chance to pick my pocket. I'm so sorry. I'm stuffed. I'm famished. Please take this. He does this to 2 or 3 of the children, slowly making his way back to the place where he knows they've been reporting to. And then he'll just lean against the wall, light one cigarette, light a second, and then say out loud to no one in particular, except he knows there's a person there the kids have been reporting to. I see a lot of people here. They're either trying to show a lot of class or purchase some class. I am a traditional American ass. I just care about the end of the business. I care about getting the money. I'm an ugly face. I don't have money, but I know somebody who does. He's looking for things that aren't for sale here. And I'll just see if somebody responds.
Let's see, because you're trying to get one of the kids to respond, right?
Well, I like paid. I gave food to the kids.
Okay.
I'm seeing if because I saw where they were reporting to, and I'm seeing if I can bait whoever they're reporting to like.
We found an
Come
adult
out.
at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, I'm trying to like bait the adult at the top of the food chain.
Okay,
Exactly.
I would say you can roll like a luck test, maybe.
Okay.
You can do a luck test. I know you have
Perfect.
1,000.
I have 99 luck.
80
So the 80
under
is still a
99.
success.
My God. Okay. You see some of the kids coming and going from a specific tent that has no real adornment other than, as you get closer to it, very light stitching of some sort of symbols on the flaps. You're not sure exactly what they mean. Could be a different language, but doesn't ring a bell, or it could just be someone trying to feign a certain level of occultism. But you can see inside there is a woman who is sitting on what looks to be a cushioned chair, dressed all in black, probably in her mid-ish 40s or so. And every now and then one of the children will come up and whisper something into her ear, and they will run away. And she will call out in French, "Yes, can I help you? Come inside. Don't be afraid."
He'll step into the tent and reflexively, because it's the first phrase he learned in French, not in the face.
Indeed. Not in what is not in the face? And she's speaking.
Don't shoot
entirely
me in the
French.
face.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I am ugly face man.
You do, in fact,
Have
a
friend
very-
with money, want buy thing, not shown here.
I see.
This is Joseph's terrible French.
She is. I see. What is it you are looking to buy?
Skin thing simulacrum. I'm just going. He's got like 20% French. I think that's as good as is coming through.
Roll a French test, first of all.
Would you like an extra 10% before you roll?
Oh, my
Sure,
God.
why not? They'll put me at a whopping. How do I add plus 10? Well, I'll just know it is. So they'll put me up to a whopping 30. You know what? I'll spend that 14 luck.
All right.
I don't know, man. You're getting pretty low.
I know.
Run on fumes.
running on fumes. I don't know what to do with my luck's not in the 90s.
Okay, so you say skin, simulacrum, etc. She will say skin. You maison
Turkish.
Zofort. You may go to Maison Zofort on a refragonat. And she starts speaking extremely fast, like it's kind of dizzying. There are
Letter, the introduction.
no. It is
Me friend. If I go.
It is a veterinary school. There are flayed sculptures. Is this what you seek?
See. We.
We. Yes?
We.
Yes, we.
We are looking for this. Correct.
Yes, Maisons afoot?
Masons afoot.
Oh, goodness. Yes. It is veterinary school. There are displays of flayed sculptures, skinless. Yes? Very
Yes.
upsetting for some to look at.
Yes. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Wonderful kids out there. Very talented.
They are indeed. Is there anything
much for that?
else?
He just points at a random thing. How
There's-
much for that?
There's quite literally nothing in here. It's just her sitting on a chair, and that's it. She's just sitting there, and she's got what looks like a book in her lap, and she's just reading her book. And the kids run in, whisper something to her, and they run away. She says, "That is the 10th wall. I shall not sell it. I would need it in case it snows."
I'm really bad at this. It was a pleasure to meet you. My name's Joseph. You're a wonderful lady. Thank you.
Goodbye, Joseph. You have a very recognizable face.
I do. I'm ugly as sin.
Indeed. Au revoir.
Au
And you-
revoir.
And you feel like the kid's kind of tugging on your jacket, not to pickpocket you, but just to get you the hell out of the tent at that point. This is getting kind of awkward. Okay, let's cut over to Reginald. Reginald, you got thrown out of the library. What are you doing, man?
Do I have a general idea of where they'd be going today? Because I might wander, but they spoke to concierge, right?
I would say it's perfectly reasonable to say everyone was together when you set your plans, so everyone was, that's perfectly fine, sure.
I'll take a taxi over there and just start wandering around, hoping I might bump into somebody.
Okay. Are you specifically looking for them, or are you just sort of looking for anything
For
other
them.
than that? Okay. Just roll a luck test, I would say. And see if you happen to bump into one.
Yes.
Okay. You do, in fact, you see Grigori and Killian. They have a crate about 3 feet long, kind of tucked underneath one of their arms. They are walking, and you see, you see the two of them. You don't see Joseph, but you see the two of them.
Fellas, what's going on? What do you got there?
It's a piece of art. Gregory.
Grigori, I can't hear you speaking, but no words are coming out of your mouth.
This mute button tonight, I swear to God.
Cat got your tongue?
It does!
Well, unfortunately, it's on the side of this crate we're carrying, and he keeps bumping into it.
Yes, anyway, it's art apparently very dark and broody. He likes it quite much. We did find out that we've got to go to a place called Monty.
The Monty, let's go. Hey, where's
Yeah.
Joey?
I don't know. He was there and then he wasn't.
We seem to have lost him, but I did gain entry into a society of dreaming.
That's
And we're like
swell.
20 feet away, Joseph is showing the kid how to do a pratfall. Here's the thing. You pretend like they bumped into you. You make them feel bad because they injured you, a poor, helpless child. This is the way you fall, and you really sell it this way to make it look like they hurt you. They give you some money to make sure that they hush you up. And I'll give a kid some tips on how to do pratfalls to look like they were injured.
That sounds
I'm
wonderful.
a good person.
Reginald, roll a spot hidden test.
Spot hidden. I'm good at this.
Okay.
12.
Ooh.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Triple
This is
star
where
success
all
level.
my dice luck is. It is not
Uh-huh.
with me. It is with Matt.
Oh my God, Melissa, it's not all about you. Okay. Okay. So Reginald, you notice as Joseph is sitting there and teaching this kid how to do this fall, you notice that there are a couple men, maybe about 10, 20 feet past him, that are kind of slowly approaching him, and they are dressed what look to be in these sort of dark clothing. You're not sure if it's a coat or a robe. You're not really sure, but you see there's these little various decorations around, like their cuffs, the neck here and there. Your bones, stones. It's hard to tell at the distance, but you see like they're very curious and they're sort of approaching Joseph, and one of them is sort of kind of slipping a hand like into like their clothing as if they're reaching for something.
Okay. I will like nudge Grigori next to me and just like get his attention in that direction. And I'll, Joey, duck! Do a pratfall.
So Joey, you duck. And when you kind of roll and you like kind of look in the direction maybe where Reginald or Grigori is pointing, you look over and you can see there are these guys that they've got these kind of dark, like kind of roundish hats on that are kind of hanging fairly low, very dark skinned as well. And you see one of them like points out in your direction, and you see their eyes just kind of grow just absolute wide, like when you can see the white surrounding the iris. And they're like, you have come back to us at last. And they start like moving closer to you at this point, like a little faster and faster. And all of them now start kind of reaching in to their robes and start pulling some things out. What do you want to do?
This is in English?
Yes, it was in English. Accent, hard to kind of figure out, but it was definitely an accent. What do you want to do?
Kids, those men have tons of money in their pockets. Get them now. And I run.
Oh God. Roll a charm test or persuasion or fast talk, one of those. You could take a bonus die. You can take a bonus die because you've had like good relations with them, but you can take a bonus die for them.
Charm, fast talk. Where's persuasion under?
It's all
I guess charm is my. I'll do charm with a bonus dice. I'm gonna be terrible at this. But it's worth it. Oh, there's the bonus dice thing. You know what? I'll spend the luck.
Oh my God, dude. You rolling so well. All right. So you spend they look up at you, and like the one kind of gets up, dusts themselves off, looks over, and you can see like about 6 of them just start to swarm over top of these like 3 guys a little bit. A few of them are just like, well, sir, but this, can I help you? And they're kind of like tugging at their coats and stuff here and there. And then you start to run. What are the rest of you doing?
I am very curious, and with Joseph out of harm's way, I will go and shoo the children off and help these men up.
Okay.
And in the process, try to very sneaky, like, frisk them to find out, because I think they were going for autograph books, but they may be guns.
Roll a sleight of hand test.
You've got it. 24. That is a success.
You reach into, like, as you're helping them up, you taken out, like, one of them kind of gets knocked down, you help them up, and as you do, like, you kind of do the classic dust them off, but while you're doing that, the other hand kind of reaches in, and you see that they were in fact pulling out your hunch was correct, like this small little leather booklet, and you can see that on the inside of it there is this old kind of folded up movie poster and you can see like there's various credit names on it, and one of them is Joseph Tidwell, maybe one of your earlier films besides Scaramouche. And they're like,
you all must be friends of Mr. Tidwell. Yes, he just came off of Scaramouche not long ago.
yes,
And I'll yell out, Mr. Tidwell, it's fine. They're not tax collectors.
And Mr. Tidwell, I would say maybe you can actually roll a listen test and see if you heard that. If not, you're
Okay.
You're still running for days.
Yeah, for reasons I might have run.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't hear it.
Yeah, and you're just running. So Grigori, you're kind of shouting the name, and like their guys are kind of looking at you. They are dressed very peculiarly. I will say, roll a psychology test.
Sure,
like.
absolutely. I don't have that on my character sheets.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
It's not.
Probably means
Let me
you,
just throw it on there.
don't have much in it.
It means all I can do is go up, correct? There it is. I found it.
Okay. That's a
No,
fail.
but I failed.
They seem very put out. You would imagine probably because one of them just got knocked over, and this Joseph that they were very excited to locate ran off. So they seem very irritated. They kind of like sort of give you a very curt thank you, but then at the same time kind of push you off, and then their heads kind of start looking up, and they speak to each other in a language you don't recognize. Actually,
Is it Italian?
You can roll an intelligence test.
I can do that. I am no dum-dum. I rolled a
Oh my
1. I am
God.
a super not dum-dum.
Wow.
A super not dum-dum.
He rolls a critical. Oh my god! So extreme success, critical. You recognize the language. It is in fact Kenyan, and not only that, you might even understand some of the words. So I'll give you, because of this, because you've spent time in Africa, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, big game hunting and stuff. So maybe this is where it comes from. I even give you like a 20% of like fluency maybe. And you hear them it's sort of broken, but they talk about the chosen one. The chosen one has returned to us at last. We must find him. We must find him. He was here. I have seen him. You have seen him too. And they're just kind of going back and forth. And it starts to you start to get a feel from the conversation that if this is fandom, this is some really fervent and unsettling fandom, but they also don't seem to connect you and Joseph. And so they kind of just push you off and dismiss you. And they start wandering away, looking very carefully at all the tents and stalls.
I'll call out to them in the bit of broken Kenyan that I have. Listen, I know Mr. Tidwell. If you tell me your business with him, maybe I can arrange a meeting.
One of them comes up, gets right into your face, and says,
I don't like this. Personal space, my lad.
To you, in an accented English, because he kind of starts to sense that you're not very good at speaking this language.
Fair.
He says, you are friends with Mr. Tidwell.
That is what I said.
Mr. Tidwell. Are you close friends with him?
Lovers, in fact.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm not, but I just don't like how
Killian
intensely
walks
he's
up.
questioning me.
Yeah.
Indeed. And like they look back to each other and they start spreading around. And you see suddenly you are sort of semi-surrounded by these three men, Grigori.
Well,
And they say, well then, we shall not go to him. We shall make him come to us.
oh no, I breakdance.
And one of them pulls back the robe, and you see, tucked into their belt, this long, curved, bladed sword. Like
I don't like this at all.
like a long knife,
I-
not so much a sword.
I feel misled by the poster.
And they will say to you, if you come with us quietly, we will not harm you.
Or I'll come with you, not at all, and I'll run away.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes in a sec. What's your let's see, what's your dex? Your dex is 70? Oh goodness.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna need to make a test to try to run away here. Let's see.
This is where you needed that crit success.
By the
It
way,
is.
Killian and Reginald, I'm assuming you're
we're just
nearby.
watching. I figured we're just standing there watching what's going on.
You're welcome to do whatever you want. But Grigori, if you're trying to break free, because they kind of got an arm, like he's kind of got an arm on you, and you're sort of like surrounded at this point. Go ahead and we'll say roll. You can do. I guess you could probably do some kind of dex test, or you could do a dodge if you would like, as you try to dodge away.
If you said I could do a dex test, I would love to do that one.
Okay, go ahead and roll dex. Okay, it will be contested. So
yes, I'm going. Can I spend luck on that? It's the success.
So it is a success. So the way contested things work is we do tiers, right? Whether it's regular success, hard success, or extreme success. So I'll tell you right now, I rolled a James Bond. I rolled a 007.
How dare you?
Which would actually be a extreme success. So you would need to spend, in this case, you need to get down to 14. So you would need to spend what looks like 42 points of luck.
52? You rolled it. Wait, you rolled a
Is it
7?
52? Yeah, it's 52. 52 plus 14 is 66.
Hey, yeah, I'm not getting captured by strange men in a market with swords. I am spending 52 luck.
Okay.
Wow.
So, Grigori, you bolt and you start running. Gillian and Reginald, you see this happen, but you also see that they begin chasing Grigori. Reginald and Killian, are you doing anything in this particular instance?
No! Leave my lover alone!
Killian will start running along, but he's carrying a crate, so I don't know how fast he would be able to try and keep up.
Okay. I mean, they don't seem to have paid attention to you or Reginald.
Right.
Like they're focusing on Grigori. So it's up to you if you want to run or not.
What's going on here? What happened before I arrived?
Well, they appear to be giving Grigori chase, and I
Does he
hate
know
for the
those
three of
fellas?
them to catch up with him. I don't know.
Hell of a dance he broke into there.
I only caught the end of it, and he said he was lovers with Joseph. And so,
Is he?
I'm a thumb man. What can you say?
I'm just laughing at the level of urgency of like Grigori running away, and they're just like, "This is an interesting situation he's found himself in."
I thought we were. I thought we were.
Meanwhile,
running along.
Joseph is just trucking it.
Joseph's back in London.
Yeah. I thought we were running and trying to converse at the same time.
Okay.
Sure.
I was imagining you've got the crate and it's just sort of like
We're just standing there.
using it as like
leaning
bumper cars
against
with
it.
people.
No.
Okay.
Killian will try and be careful with the crate, so he may not be as fast.
This coming from the person that just ripped the really, really important library book so quickly. My suggestions are not the best.
Speaking of which, let's go back to the library for a moment, and then we'll come back and resolve this this situation, which has gone terribly, terribly awry. So, Melissa, you've been researching for a bit as Pema, and you're doing this all on your own now, so no more bonus die for you. So it's just a pure library use and French test. And you're sort of looking into like Comte de Fenelix stuff. You're looking into sort of probably what you're looking through here, like these old like French Revolution sort of found documents, diaries, maps, letters, correspondence, that sort of thing. But go ahead and roll library use and a French roll. Actually, I'll say you French roll, you can roll over, but just give me a new library use test. Yes.
So my library use is 70 and I rolled an 85. So I'm going to take my 27 luck and spend. I forgot to call the audience ahead of time. So I will go down to 12 luck so that I can pass the library.
We have the
test.
same amount of luck.
Good gracious.
Okay. So you have been reading specifically about Comte Fenelick these last few hours. Maybe the hair in the back of your head might be standing up slightly as random stuff is happening with the guys over at the marketplace. But you've just been reading and reading and reading. And you have come across what appears to be a diary. Specifically a diary. I'll go ahead and share this with you. It looks like the diary of a woman by the name of Mademoiselle de Bryn, who was a member of the Queen's Court during the summer of 1789, June specifically. And you notice that there's a ton of like water damage with this particular piece, so you're being very, very careful with it. Many of the pages aren't properly bound any longer, so they're sitting free. Most of what you're reading seems to be dealing these very petty intrigues of kind of affairs and court life, stuff like that plague the court. And you do come across, as you had sort of previously seen briefly, this notion of some kind of scandal. And specifically, it's written Comte Fenelick. Is sort of like how it's written. The spelling is a little bit different, but the pronunciation you imagine is probably the same. And let me see if I can share it with you here, and then you can read it. Let's see. So if you want to look at the bottom half of that. This would be the diary of Mademoiselle de Brun. Do you see that? I just tried to share it.
Yes, I do.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So if you want to read the bottom, go for it.
Okay, so June 1789. The Comte was like a sun among us, shedding his light and making all rejoice in... Oh, I lost it. It went away.
You gotta click on the left.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry. Shedding his light and making all rejoice in his pleasures. His feasts are said to be the most lavish and lascivious yet seen in our city. It was then that it became apparent that much evil was afoot, and the queen became angered. The king's men did raid the house, and much was destroyed, and the comte was arrested.
So you've been researching for 3-4 more hours, going through all these different, and you kind of come across, the first time you've come across a specific reference to this comte, this count. Do you want to continue researching, or do you want to leave? You probably do one more roll today, we'll say.
Yeah, I would continue, especially since it's just me and I've got to make up for accidentally pretending like I fired Mr. Abernathy.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll another library use.
Okay. I am going to announce ahead of time that I am taking a 10% from the audience, our generous audience, which will not help me in the least because I rolled a 92 and I only have 12 luck, so I can't get there.
Okay.
Can I?
You can push. You can always push, but there's dangers to pushing.
I mean, it's what we're here to do.
Okay.
So can I keep the 10?
I think you have to take the new, when you push, you take the new roll.
Okay.
So.
And I'll still get the 10% from the audience. There we go. That's a 5 under 70.
Really? Is it so that's an extreme success. Okay. I will give you 2 new pieces. I'll put them in the same area. And you can go ahead and read them if you want. One is a report specifically from one by the name of Captain Louis Melon, who apparently led an assault on Fenelick's mansion in a place called Poissy, which is a suburb west of Paris. And he kind of you're seeing a report that he filed at some point, kind of mixed in with various other court documents that you were able to sift through. Most of those court documents have just absolutely nothing to do with what you're researching, but this one was particularly interesting. So if you want to read it, go right ahead.
Before I do that, welcome in raiders, murder hobos, and choco bros. All right, so June 1979. When we arrived, the feast was still in progress. Men and women were running like rabid dogs. We chased them out, arresting the ones who were not able to vouch for themselves. I sent 6 men to capture the Comte when I entered the chambers beneath. I cannot bring myself to describe what I saw there, save that we had entered a cesspool, and it was hell. God protect us. Many devices of torture lay in many chambers. One of my men found a strange Nuremberg Virgin, which was locked. Fearing to find a fresh occupant, we smashed it open, but found it to be empty. It was a dark day when the noble vermin, such as Fenelek, did descend upon Poissy, and if God does not punish him for his sins, then the king surely will. It was with a just heart that I did give the order to burn the house and those who remained below, though the Comte did howl and scream as though his very soul was burning. We then took him to the place that would be his new home. There may he rot.
Okay. And then the other piece that you find, and this is all spanning hours and hours and hours. So this is like your entire day has been spent doing this. And you've been getting fairly lucky as there's a significant number of documents here, and you just happen to have found a few that kind of work for you. And the last piece you're going to get is a journal from the Queen's physician that specifically is sort of making some notes where Comte Fenelek's name is popped up once more. So that should be in the same document. You can go ahead and read that one if you like.
Okay. Also June 1979. 2 nights later, the soldiers of the king went in force to the Comte's villa to halt his excesses. After they burned his mansion, they brought the Comte before the king's deputy, who then ordered me present to deliver an opinion. Fenelek was screaming and writhing. It was easy to see that he was mad. As a nobleman and a madman, he could not be executed. So I suggested that a merciful king might place Fenelek in Charenton Asylum. The king's deputy apparently decided upon this course and arranged that Fenelek be taken there. Later, the king expressed his disapproval, and the disposition was made permanent. The last I learned of him was that he had been locked away in a cellar because he had attacked other patients.
Okay. And just to clarify, it's 1789. Not like I think you said 1987 or something like that. But yeah, all of them came out in June 17. So all of those pieces were like, because you can see a lot of these things were sort of compiled by year, by month, and they weren't necessarily separated in terms of what kinds of documents they were, but they were sort of focused on year and date, and you kind of were able to piece some of these things together. Okay. So with that done, let's kick back to this impromptu chase scene that we're now going to suddenly have to deal with as Grigori is out in front. Joseph, you're actually okay because I don't think they even were able to find you.
I didn't hear it. I'm gone.
You're just still going. You're still going.
I'm the open note.
Grigori, Cillian, and Reginald. Grigori, you're out in front. Cillian and Reginald, you're kind of a little bit behind, and then these cultists. So here's what we're going to do. Let's treat this like sort of a skill challenge sort of situation where each one of you can kind of give me a check that you want to do to try to help kind of separate yourselves from this group that's chasing you. Like, how do you want to go about either eluding them, outpacing them, or some other strategy you have. And so each one of you will do a roll, and we'll see how well you do, and that'll determine whether or not they catch you or whether or not you get away.
So there's Grigori up front, I'm assuming, then the
Yes.
cultists, and then us somewhere behind.
I'm
to
fine
catch
with
up?
it. If you want to treat it like that, I'm okay with saying, because you guys did talk for a bit, so I guess they did break first, so you probably are slightly behind them.
All right. Well,
Throw the crate at them.
Killian's going to say, just meet us back at the Balmoral. knowing that that's the wrong one.
Ah,
Okay.
Hopefully,
sure.
hopefully Grigori will pick up on that.
Sure. Fast talk, I guess we could do. Can roll
Okay.
can I sit? I don't know how I could assist in that.
that. Say it at the same time all together.
Yeah.
This is what I'm legendary at, so
Go for it, man.
Fancy.
yeah. So 94 over 5.
Okay.
Wow.
You're
Oh,
shouting
that
it-
was
sarcasm. I think.
sarcasm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's more of a
it's very
charm
obvious
guy.
that I was trying to throw them. Yeah.
I have a 65 in fast talk. You should let me do the talking here.
Oh.
So
I'm good at the other
maybe-
talking.
Maybe as you go to say it, you stumble over your own hotel and you kind of get halfway through the word and then you say it again, but then you're shouting, you're running, you're not sure if they heard you, and if they did hear you, you're not sure if they've kind of pieced it together at this point. But none of them turn back to look at you as you shout. Reginald, do you have something in mind?
I don't know. Policia.
Let's certainly try. There
I don't know
are
what police is in French.
there are certainly folks around like the market that you've seen maybe that
All
had
right.
some
I'll-
some uniforms.
Call out for the police
Okay.
and point at the men.
Okay,
What
sure.
would you like me to roll?
So you're shouting police, and you're pointing at these men that are chasing Grigori.
The oddly dressed men who are chasing Grigori. They kind of. I'm assuming they stand out because you said they had like
it's sort
jewels
of an
and
cultish like flea market. So there have
Oh.
been some people dressed a little peculiarly that you've seen. If it was a normal street, they would probably stand out. Here, it's a little more normal.
Here,
I don't know.
dudes with swords chasing someone. It's just a Tuesday.
You did see that there were stalls with old antique weaponry and stuff too here as well, like flails and maces and old rusted daggers and things like that. Reginald, you can roll a fast talk too if you want.
do we grab a flail and fight them?
You're welcome to bust out into combat if you want to fight them. If you want to try to tackle them, fine.
40 success.
Okay. So you're running, you look over and you can see that there is this man, police uniform. He is like at a stall. Looks like he's kind of holding up like what looks like some sort of crystal necklace, kind of holding it up. And he's sort of talking to like the vendor a little bit. And then you kind of shout, kind of almost bump into them. And he kind of turns around and he's like, what? Sacre bleu. And he kind of drops, he drops the. It was gonna be stupid when I opened my mouth. He drops the crystal necklace, shatters on the ground. You hear the vendor start getting really angry, and then they start running as well as they're chasing. And they're stop, and they're saying this in French, whatever the hell stop is in French.
Let's
Stop. Let's
Arrête.
stop. Let's stop.
Arrête.
They halt.
It's French.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
And so they're chasing.
I know
and
because
chasing,
stop signs here are in English and French.
and they're
Arrête.
holding up some club like, "Come back here, you vermin!" As they're chasing. Presumably the men who one of them maybe has like brandishing a knife at this point. Okay. Grigori, what are you doing?
I am going to do the most respectable thing and try to hide.
Okay. Roll a stealth test. They are chasing you. Roll a stealth test. This is going to be contested. They'll roll a spot hidden.
Oh, ouch. Oh.
All right.
I leap into a trash can, but my feet are still sticking up in the air.
You feel
It smells like Le Pew in here.
You feel suddenly the trash can, a force just hits the trash can and kind of knocks you over. You go stumbling down into the ground, and this man drops down on you and puts a knife against your throat, and then kind of starts to kind of pull you up and grab you, as if he's kind of trying to keep you, kind of keep you close with the knife against your throat. Joseph, roll a spot hidden or listen if you prefer, one of the two, to see if you can suss out something's happening.
I'm gonna try to listen because I figure I'm running, so I don't think I'm really like look. I'll do listen. That feels
Okay.
more fair.
Okay.
And you know what? Just these giant fish ears of mine. I don't understand the logic.
You hear the sounds of Reginald and Killian shouting. You hear the sounds, and with your little bit of French, you can hear the policeman kind of shouting, "Stop! Stop! Stop! Right this minute! Stop!" As he is sort of a police officer who is now in the chase. You're able to follow the sound, and you see at this point Grigori is being brought up, kind of has got a knife against his throat. And the two others are kind of catching up. And then you see shortly behind, there's Reginald and Killian that are still kind of running. You're still probably 20 or so feet away. So let's do another round of this. And just tell me what everyone's doing. So now the situation is there's a cop. There's these three cultists. One of them has a knife to Grigori's neck. There's trash on the ground. Killian and Reginald, you're running a little bit behind the last of these cultists, and you're almost caught up. So what does everyone want to do in this situation?
We've learned in my long career as a big game hunter that when the lion has you by the neck, you always hit him in the nads. So I would like to make a brawl test to try and disarm this man with a knife.
Okay, you're gonna try to disarm him. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna make it contested as he's kind of got the job.
Yes, that's fair. It's nice knowing all of you.
Would you like a +10?
It's too late for that. I rolled a 54.
Do you want to spend 24 luck to make that a success?
I have 12.
Okay. Well, he unfortunately also failed, but you failed too. So basically, you're locked in a stalemate. You tried to wrestle free, and he knows the hit to the nads maneuver quite well. So he shifts his body ever so slightly, and then he kind of like does like a headbutt against your temple, and you're kind of a little dizzy from it as well. What about the other three, Joseph or Killian or Reginald? Cop following you.
Killian's going to say, if you kill his lover, he'll have nothing to lose, and you won't get what you want from Joseph.
I did say that.
Yeah, and Killian was listening.
Okay.
So I'm going to attempt to persuade him to bring the knife down.
Okay. Yeah. So he doesn't seem to be trying to kill Grigori. If he wanted to, he probably could have stabbed him pretty easily thus far. It looks like he's just trying to keep him.
Yeah, maybe open negotiations or something like that,
Okay. You can, roll a check. You can roll like a persuasion or something like that, and then sort of walk through it. But I think if it's like, don't kill him, you don't get the sense that they're actually trying to kill him. They're trying to capture him. So.
Yeah, more or less just something to give him an opportunity to respond.
All right.
Opening a dialogue.
21 out of 50, so 2 stars.
Okay. He will look towards you, and at this point, Reginald, Killian, and then a few steps behind you, the cop is now almost there as well. And he will say, if you back away now, we will not kill him. We will only harm him a little. And he starts to kind of back away at this point. The one with Grigori is just sort of dragging Grigori as the other two step in front and kind of put themselves between you and Grigori being dragged away. Reginald, what do you want to do?
Oh, are we getting into combat? Are we doing this?
You don't have to.
Do it.
All right.
You got this. I believe in you.
The cop is going to be here in a sec. That'll help you, but it's just a cop, so it's just one.
All right. Reginald stares off in space. His eyes go in different directions. He pulls out a mask and dons it. Yes. Yes. That's a friend. What am I doing it, friend? Get back here, my friend. You rogue fool. That's a friend. And I am going to lunge at the two of them flying. Double clothesline.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Am I rolling?
Yes.
So you're rolling your brawl.
Okay.
And then I will. Okay, so if you're rolling one of these two, I'll do the fight
The
back.
windy wrangler has returned.
So So you jump at one of them.
64, Mr. GM.
A 64, did you pass?
Yes.
All right, I rolled a 37. Let's see. You would need to... they're both regular successes. So, yeah, 37 is just a regular success for me. So, I think it's just since it's level, you jump at him. They try to stab at you. You kind of dodge underneath the knife at this point that they have just like kind of been holding underneath their robe and try to slash at you. And then you try to like kind of punch and they lean back and your fist just missed their chin. And it's just sort of a few misses, close calls, but nothing actually happens here. Actually, let me double check one thing.
Sure.
They choose to fight back. The attacker rolls swing skill. So if the defender, I'm trying to remember because there's different two. The tie goes to the attacker on fight back. So you do damage actually because it's a tie. So
nice.
Go ahead and roll
I was
your
just
damage.
I want to do like brawling, like knock over. I wasn't looking to like damage them. I want to kind of knock them down, the two that were in between.
Mhm.
So just roll damage on that. Went 3 damage.
Okay, so you just
Max
come up
damage.
It is max damage. 1d3. You come up. That fist does actually connect on the chin, and you can see they kind of stumble back for a second, and they seem like a little kind of taken aback and a little disoriented by your hit.
Dancing on top of them, going back and forth.
Joseph,
All right,
you see
I
the
see my
Wrangler.
opportunity. Reginald, or in this case, the Windy City Wrangler. He's doing his job. Nobody does the business quite like him. Me, I'm not in it for the pain. I'm in it to save Grigori. He's not really my lover, but I do love him, and I don't want him to get his throat cut. So I'm going to run. And we've got these little tables with the curios and the other things, correct?
That's
I want to
correct.
run. I want to jump up off of one of them, leap, trying to grab my friend, and in a jumping twist, pull him away from the man with the knife.
That sounds absolutely
My hero.
extraordinary. Oh, goodness.
Would you say a jump would be appropriate?
I will take a jump roll for sure.
Jump up, and get down.
Thank you, Grigori. That's exactly where I was going. Jump up and get down. Yes.
So you're coming kind of from a flank, and so he doesn't actually see you. And now that Reginald, the Wrangler, has gotten into it, things have gotten a little awkward now in front. Is one of the two bodyguards that kind of stepped out in front of him, the one holding the knife to Grigori's throat. So he's kind of a little disoriented, and he's trying to kind of turn Grigori and move quicker. But that's right when you leap and you reach up, you grab Grigori by the shoulders, you kind of grab him in your arms, and then you turn, and then you fall backwards and you crash into this display of curios and crystals and small little rings and trinkets and things. A couple books go stumbling down onto the ground. You hear a woman, "What is this?" kind of screaming, kind of hitting you on the head with a broom. And like the tent kind of caves in a little bit. And now like you and Grigori are kind of tucked underneath this tarp inside of what is now a semi-ruined display for this vendor. At this point, we're going to say the cop arrives and gets a whistle out, and it's just blowing a whistle. And you hear all of a sudden there's different whistles that are kind of responding from elsewhere in the marketplace, as if they're like kind of responding. They're coming. And so he looks around. Let me see what he's observed so far. He's observed everything as I rolled a 008. And so he will run up to the other one of the two robed figures next to Reginald now. And he will scream, like put your weapon down on the ground, and then he will go ahead and take his billy club and just sort of do a forward thrust with it right into the guy's stomach. This cop is the best. I just rolled a 20.
Yes. Let's give this cop a name.
And
we're hiring him on the team.
We're recruiting you.
Guillaume.
Yeah,
you're on the Shining Force.
He just thrusts and the guy kind of crumbles a little bit, and then he kind of comes over top and kind of conks him on the head as well. And so the guy crumbles to the ground at this point. I'm gonna throw it back to you guys. There's a cop here.
It's a fuzz. Run.
Okay, is that what you do?
Yes.
All right, so you just start running. You just flee the scene at this point. Killian, what do you do?
Are Joseph and Grigori still on the ground right now?
They
Probably tangled up
you,
in that mess.
the last you saw, they got tangled up in this little tent, this curio shop, and you see things moving around. You hear people screaming, but you can't see them. But they're underneath there somewhere.
Yeah, and then the original one, is he starting to run?
Yeah, he kind of stumbled from Joseph. I would say with the arrival of the cop, yes, he is in fact starting to run.
Okay, I'm going to mark him by taking a small knife and throwing it towards his leg so that'll slow him down.
Okay, make a throw test.
And hopefully he'll leave a trail.
Okay.
All right.
And I think I get do I do a dodge on this? Let me see.
Do we still have audience participation points?
Oh, yes, we
Okay.
have plenty.
I'm going to take that. Oh, cool. Succeed.
Yeah, he does have I do get a dodge. I can roll dodge on this if I forfeit
Sure.
my next
I
action.
think that would give you a hard success.
That would be 32 out of 50.
No, it's not. A
Okay.
25 would be a hard. 25.
No, giving you the 10. Oh, yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Math.
I know, math. Like, I think I got it. And
Numbers
then I
of
don't got it.
nerds.
18. Yeah.
You do in fact stick him, and you see the knife kind of sticks out of the back of his the back of his thigh, and he continues to start to run, but this time you can see a noticeable limp at that point. Okay. Grigori and Joseph, what do you want to do?
Well, Joseph, if you want to do something brave, you're allowed to. I am going to start laying down our cover story for the police. Help! Those men were trying to kidnap me for my considerable wealth, and these kind fellows saved me.
And while he's doing that, under the cover of the tarp, I'm commando crawling away.
Okay, you're going
Trying
to
to
try
let
to
my
sneak
rich, well-spoken friend talk to the cops as I sneak away.
away. Roll a stealth test.
I'll try.
Oh god, what happened?
This is a good
Guys are
idea.
just going to the market. Spend some luck.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
As
I
you-
kind of enjoy failing this.
As you
Like,
kind of
the
crawl
tarp
away,
is caught on his legs. He's trying to crawl away.
you crawl like underneath the backside of the tarp. You're coming out, and right as you come out, you look up, and there's a cop standing right there, having responded to the whistle, and he kind of looks down at you.
Thank God you're here. I was in fear for my life.
Fast talk.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Would you like an extra
do it.
boost?
I believe in you.
You know, it's a 5 or a 15. You know what? Yes, I'll take that plus 10.
All
Get
right.
them resources.
Nope.
No.
Jeff is
He,
over here
uh,
mathing at us.
He reaches down. He offers you a hand. He offers you a hand to kind of pick you up. And as you do, he slaps a manacle on like one of your wrists, pulls your arm back around your back, and slaps another.
Merci. Fuck you.
I'll try to reason with him. Like, no, he saved my life. They had a knife to my throat.
Persuade Grigori if you like.
You've got it. I've got a 10.
Oh my god!
I will gladly use an audience boost.
Guys are so
I've-
great.
Gotta hit a 20 or less.
You
My
can propose
personality is in
you
the
can
side of a
propose
dollar bill.
You could propose an alternate skills,
Oh.
charm, fast talk, or whatever. If there's something better,
Let's
like
see. Fast talk is a 5. I'll go with charm. Charm is a 20. I'll
All
take
the
it.
stuff I'm really good at, but the masked guy ran away
I
from the scene of the crime.
Away. Oh god.
I'm really good at shooting things with a rifle. Sadly, it's frowned upon in a city.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
So anyway, I'll use charm and audience die, meaning I've got to hit 30 or less.
You can do it.
I will spend 1 point of luck, taking me down to an 11.
Okay.
That is a skin of the teeth success.
Okay. he will say, so he'll just say at this point, as stuff is still kind of going on, he will look at you and he will say, that's maybe so. We will sort this out in a moment. For now, sit here and do not move.
I will gladly comply.
And he moves around and he starts kind of closing in. Now, Killian, you're still in the thick of things, but you also now notice that there are about a half dozen policemen have now showed up. You can see that the two robed figures that are in front of you have suffered some level of pummeling, and they're surrounded. But one of the cops, one of the police will kind of come to you, and they will say in French, they will start speaking to you in French, which I don't think you speak. What do you do, Killian, as they are like they are very aggressively and angrily asking you questions?
Parlez-vous English?
You see them roll their eyes. What is the meaning of this? What is your role in all of this?
Just lending assistance. He's getting away. As I hold my hands up and I point in the direction, and you look at the ground. He's leaving a trail.
There is another one, Francois, and he says it all in French, and you see like one of the other guys just start kind of bolts off after the guy that you marked.
I'll go with you and give my witness account. As like one arm is still trying to hold on to this crate.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll say that the intensity has gone down. We've got Joseph and Grigori sitting off to the side. We've got Reginald, who has run away from the scene, fled the scene. And we've got Killian, who now is sort of face-to-face with a policeman who is trying to question him in a language that Cillian is not particularly versed in, and that the policeman is not also great at speaking English. And plus, Pema is ripping up papers and going through books back at the library. And I'll feel, let's end it here on this. We'll resolve this chaos at the start of the next session. And then we'll get introduced to the three new characters that we'll probably meet. Who are going to be joining Reginald and Pema.
Can anybody do anything right this session? Like the library didn't go well.
We're all just going to play children from the market. You'll have a bunch of thieves tagging along.
Just a ton of urchins.
That's fantastic.
I would love to play an urchin.
Mr. Abernathy just did nothing wrong and just walked into bad
exactly
things.
Matt rolled just fine throughout the game. He took the bullet for you is what he did, Emma. That was your fault, I think, right?
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, Dice's fault, but
yeah.
Okay.
So I have a list of complications that pop up every now and then, and I kind of roll every now and then to see if they pop up. And one of them popped up, and it just so happened to be we're at a kind of an occult flea market, and just something from Joseph's past has popped up. Oopsie daisy. All right. Oh, that went so south so fast. It was ridiculous. I thought everything was going to be fine. I thought everything was going to be gret. Joseph got away. I'm like, oh, everything's fine. This is going to be super easy. And then
nope. I'm his lover.
It's so funny. I'm like, oh, Chuck, you just put yourself right in their crosshairs. Oh
I did.
God. So good.
I thought they were fans, and then they were kind of rude. My temper got the best of me.
They are totally fans.
God, I love it so much though.
There's a really funny description of there's fans and then there's these people.
Yeah.
Mr. Kozel was like, I know him.
Oh my God. All right. Let's do some closing plugs and then we'll get out of here. So Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
Yeah, Aaron Reese on Patreon. You get comics, maps, tokens, other fun asset stuff. It's a good time. Check it out.
Excellent. Chuck, what's Defenders doing this week?
Oh, that's me. We're doing something on Wednesday. I don't know what that is yet. We'll figure it out. We're doing something on Wednesday.
Okay.
And Friday, we've got Umerica, our Dungeon Crawl Classics in the American post-apocalyptic scene. And that's it for DOK this week, I think. Yeah.
Very nice. Adam, what's going on with Grim Perilous?
Well, one of the best adventures ever written is now available in print on demand. I'm quoting Chuck here, in that
Mhm.
it is one of the best adventures ever written, and hopefully you'll agree with him. So, you'll find a link there. Actually, looks like a couple of links. Whoops, double post, but it's something that we did for Gen Con last year, and we put it up as a PDF originally. But if you want a physical copy of it, you can get that on ttrpg now. And that's the biggest, that's the latest thing from Grim and Carlos Studios.
Awesome. And Matt, what about you? What are you doing this week?
Act 2 in Cthulhu on Garblight Games Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard. We're going into the final mission in Greenland here. So we got 3 or 4 sessions left on that. And then, we'll be hopping into something else.
Very, very cool. As for us here, tomorrow night, Tuesday, our buddy Steven's going to be running Forbidden Lands. You can catch that as he talked a big game about killing some folks and then didn't. Then on Friday, we've got Conan for 2D20 system. You can see Aaron is going to pop into the GM seat for that one. We are going to get dressed up. I'm going to wear a harness. It's pretty great. And then Saturday, back to One Ring, where we introduced our new party member. Maitreya's joined the party for a bit. And then Monday next week, we are doing Holler, and we have a very special series of Holler episodes coming up, as we are going to, I'm going to be stepping out of the GM seat for a couple of weeks as Tracy Sizemore, one of the creators of Holler. She's going to step in and is going to run the Troublemakers through a special scenario as a little interlude for our campaign. It's going to be awesome.
Nice.
So come watch that. But that's it for us. Thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who threw out some bits, and thank you for the raid. Go ahead and check out the YouTube channel as well. Adventures in Lollygagging. Got all of our old games up there. We are now going to go ahead and raid. Let's see. Happy Jacks looks good. So let's go ahead and raid them. Follow along. Have a good rest of your night. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.